Well, Gaffer, a win on the day, but we fall short in the end. Can you sum up your immediate emotions for us, please?
Yeah, of course. Extreme disappointment. I was pleased with the performance today. I thought we performed really well. I thought against a good Norwich side. I think our home form, we spoke about it. I think 3 wins out of 4 against some good teams as well. So yeah, pleased with that aspect of it, and never really looked like we're in too much danger. Probably should have had more goals first half also. But yeah, it just felt so frustrating because we knew there'd be other results. You're just looking for something to go our way, and maybe. Maybe sometimes you have to look at it and say, maybe was it written in the stars that this was our time, and we've got to bounce back and be stronger from it. But certainly it was disappointing because I felt as though if we won today, which I knew was going to be very difficult to do, we would stay in the division, and we haven't managed to do that.
It might be a bit unfair me asking you this because you have only been in for 8 games, but are there anything you can point to, any common themes as to why we've fallen short over the course of the season?
I think it's a difficult situation. I mean, you have to look at, you certainly don't get relegated on a few games. You get relegated over the course of a season and big periods within that. And again, it's not for me to look at the whys and the why nots. I think that, of course, some things were decisions that were made and some things were out of people's control, like the Tony situation. So again, it's a difficult moment for the club that have to react through no one's fault, and we hope he certainly recovers from that. But I think just if I look at it, my biggest thing is I think we've got players in there that I felt, have the ability, but sometimes just maybe need to do the other side of the game a little bit more, and that's a discipline to do that. We've got people like Gary Gardner and Dukey and John Ruddy and lots of players, Neil Etheridge, that are coming in every day, doing everything they can to be the best players around the group that they can be. And I just feel as though maybe just 1 or 2 of us will, over the next few weeks, I think just maybe need to wonder whether we could have done a little bit more. But again, that's my initial flavour from the 8 games that I've been here, and that's not look, it's easy at this point to blame people, and sometimes you have to be accountable as well. And I was always going to be accountable for these 8 games. We wanted a little bit more. I think there's been some good bits in it. 3 home wins out of 4. I think we've conceded very few goals in the last 4 or 5 games. Last 4 taken 2 points on average, and you'd expect that to be enough. But the results around us have certainly not gone our way, and we have to accept it. It's what's happened, and we have to use it as a little bit of inspiration when the dust settles and everyone calms a little bit and maybe has a chance to take stock. I thought our fans were I say this all the time, but I thought our fans were absolutely amazing. I've got to be honest, that probably was the best atmosphere I've ever walked out at the start of a game. Absolutely amazing, and what I would say is I'd like to thank them because they've done their bit. They've done their bit in every single home game. They've done their bit in every single away game, and I think they can certainly look and say they've supported their team through thick and thin this season, and you couldn't ask for a lot more than that. And I think there's better days for them to come. I think we'll see a really exciting future for the club. I think the owners are. I've said it before. From my personal perspective and what I've seen, I think they're really, really good people, and I think there's a real passion and a energy for them to try and move this club forward. It might be a blip this season, but I think we'll look back in 3 or 4 seasons and be really pleased where this club is. But there's a lot of work to do, I think, to get to that point.
Yeah, and I suppose when you are relegated by a single point, the temptation is to torment yourself looking back over what could have been late goals, missed opportunities. Have you got to try and avoid that?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's my first thought straight away. You look back to QPR and think, just that last goal to lose the game. Leicester similar, but I don't think. Like I said, I think you probably find, every club up and down the division. If you finish 3rd, you could probably look at those moments when maybe you could have got automatic promotion. So I don't think it matters where you finish. I think it's easy to look and see those moments. What I would say is, and I said it in the dressing room afterwards, sometimes in a day like today, you have to leave it all out there. I think the hallmark of a top team is you leave it all out there every game, not the big games where it really matters. And I thank the players. I think on the whole for 8 games, I think the players have given us a real shift, a real work ethic. But I think there's always going to be things that maybe are reasons for other people to to think about and probably digest.
Yeah. And on the players, what is maybe a simple question, the initial reaction, as you'd expect in that home dressing room, is quite low?
Yeah, of course, disappointment, quiet, not really much to say. Obviously, as interim manager, I've got to speak to them at the end of a game, and there's not really much I can say really, other than you have to use these moments in your life to look at yourself and see what you could have done more, and make sure you put it right next season, whoever that may be. And the first thing I said, if you get an opportunity to go and clap the fans, the easiest thing to do is not want to do it, because you may be a little bit embarrassed that we've gone down, but you've got to go and do it. They deserve it. They deserve it. The kids that come to watch the game today deserve it. And it's the same with the awards due tomorrow. We'll turn up, stick your chest out, and speak to people and try and give them that little bit of positivity for the future, because of course it's a disappointing day, it's a disappointing moment for the club, disappointing for all of us involved, I'm sure, you guys included, but what do? You've got to roll your sleeves up and make sure you're ready to go again.
Yeah, and very finally, you've touched upon it already, but although emotions are raw now, immediately after the game, when you do take a step back and you look into the summer and further afield, should supporters be optimistic at what's to come further down the line under this ownership?
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, it's hard to put a timeline on it, and I think there's a lot of work needs to be done, certainly on the pitch over a course of a season. I don't think it's going to be an easy situation to bounce back out of a division easily. You've got to make sure that everything's right, your culture. I think it's the first thing the club need to make sure that it is better, I think, and stronger. I think that's been an area that probably we've let ourselves down a little bit over the course of a season. But like I said, I can only judge it on what I've seen. But the owners are really passionate. The owners are very, very open with what they want to try and do. Tom was here today trying to get the fan. And again, sometimes as an owner, maybe on this type of last day, would it be easier to stay away and not put yourself in a bit of a firing line? But I think that shows how they feel about the club, and I think it shows, and they've said it publicly, that one season won't define where this club will end up. So certainly exciting times. I think at the moment we just feel sorry for the fans that we haven't managed to stay in the division this season.
Gary, for the final time this season, thanks ever so much for talking to us.
Cheers, Dale. Thank you, mate.